get a matchup with Ngannou.
He's just waiting for his moment. Oh, there we go. It's over.
He'll destroy Chimaev. Meet Ateba Abega Gautier, the man some are already calling the new Francis Ngannou. This isn't just hype, it's a warning. We've seen countless prospects hyped up before, but what makes this one different? What has he done in fights, in training, in raw talent that makes people believe he could actually pose a threat to someone like Khamzat Chimaev? In this video, we're breaking it all down. You'll see exactly why people think Ateba has the tools to not only challenge Chimaev, but potentially destroy him. We'll cover his insane knockout power, his fearless style inside the cage, and the growing buzz around his name in the MMA world. Don't blink, because if Ateba Abega Gautier is half as dangerous as the highlights suggest, then the heavyweight division is about to get a whole lot scarier. Let's be real. When people start throwing around a nickname like the new Ngannou, the MMA world pays attention, and in this case, the hype isn't just smoke, it's real. Ateba Abega Gautier is a 23-year-old wrecking machine out of Cameroon, a country that already gave the fight world one of its most terrifying champions in Francis Ngannou. And now, out of those same unforgiving gyms and dusty fight mats, another monster has stepped forward. Gautier is 6'4" with an 81-inch reach, competing in the UFC's middleweight division. But what sets him apart isn't just the frame, it's the violence packed into every punch, kick, and elbow he throws. Let's rewind to where it started. Gautier made his pro debut in 2021, picking up a decision win that gave a small glimpse of what he could do. But by the time 2023 rolled around, he wasn't just winning fights, he was destroying opponents. That year, fans gave him two nicknames, Mini Ngannou and the Silent Killer. Both fit perfectly. Like Ngannou in his early years, Gautier carried raw power that looked unnatural, almost unfair. And with his calm, stoic demeanor outside the cage, the Silent Killer tag stuck too. His highlight reel tells the story. Crisp combinations, thudding high kicks, and knockout shots that don't just end fights, they shut down opponents instantly. He doesn't give you a chance to recover. You can see it in his fight against Ujo Lewis Sly, where he stalked forward like a predator, broke him open with strikes, and finished with ruthless efficiency. Or in Titan FC, when he landed a head kick that sent his opponent crashing down in the very first round. But the moment that really put Gautier on the map, Dana White's Contender Series. In September 2024, he stopped a tough Japanese prospect with a brutal TKO and punched his ticket straight to the UFC. And when he finally stepped into the octagon in March 2025, he delivered again, knocking out Jose Medina in the first round, announcing himself to the biggest stage in the sport. Now here's the scary part. He's still raw. Coaches and analysts all agree his striking power is freakish, but his ground game is developing, which means the fighter we're seeing now is just the beginning. Give him a few more years of wrestling defense, grappling polish, and cage experience, and the UFC might have another Cameroonian nightmare on its hands. So who is Ateba Abega Gautier? He's the kid from Cameroon who turned heads with his first pro fights, stormed through smaller promotions with highlight reel finishes, and now stands at the door of greatness in the UFC. He's the prospect fans are whispering about, the one opponents are already wary of, and the reason the phrase new Ngannou doesn't sound like hype anymore. It sounds like a warning. And that leads us into the next big question. Is he really that good? Because plenty of prospects look unstoppable early. But what makes Ateba different? Why do people believe he could actually destroy someone as proven as Khamzat Chimaev? It's easy to get caught up in hype. We've seen countless prospects tear through regional circuits, only to stumble when the lights get brighter. But with Gautier, the evidence suggests he's the real deal. First, let's talk about his power. This isn't just heavy hands. His knockouts don't look like normal finishes. They look like switches being flipped. One clean shot, and opponents fold instantly. That's the kind of power you can't teach. It's genetic, it's freakish, and it makes every second of a fight with him dangerous. Even if you're winning exchanges, one mistake can erase all of it. That's what makes him terrifying. Second, his composure. For a fighter this young, Gautier doesn't fight wild. He's patient, measured, and precise. Watch his debut in the UFC. He didn't rush into chaos. He waited, read his opponent, and then when the opening came, he exploded with clean, fight-ending accuracy. That kind of calmness under pressure is rare for a 23-year-old. Now, let's be honest. He's not flawless. His grappling is still developing, and smart wrestlers will test him there. But here's the difference. He knows it. Unlike many prospects who think raw power is enough, Gautier is already rounding out his game, training with elite coaches and former champions. The UFC has invested in his growth, and the improvements fight to fight are obvious. His takedown defense is tightening, his cardio is sharper, and his ability to stay dangerous late in fights is improving. And maybe the biggest reason people believe in him, he's done all of this in such a short time. He turned pro in 2021. 4 years later, he's knocking people out inside the UFC. That kind of rise doesn't happen by accident. It happens when someone has the physical gifts, the mindset, and the work ethic to accelerate faster than anyone else in their class. So is Gautier really that good? The answer is yes. He's raw. He's unfinished. But that's exactly what makes him so scary. Because if he's this dangerous now, imagine what he'll be in 3 years. That's why fans and fighters alike are already asking the next big question. Why is he being compared to Francis Ngannou? Is it just about power? Or is there something deeper that makes Ateba Abega Gautier the true heir to the Cameroonian throne? The power is the obvious link. Like Ngannou, Gautier carries fight-ending force in both hands. His kicks, even in short-range strikes inside the clinch, when he lands, it doesn't just wobble opponents, it shuts them down completely. That kind of knockout ability is what made Ngannou a global superstar, and it's the first thing people notice about Gautier. But the comparison runs deeper than raw strength. It's about the story, the presence, and the aura. Both men come from Cameroon. Both men grew up in environments where toughness wasn't optional, it was survival, and both carried that mindset into the fight game. When Gautier steps into the cage, there's that same silent intensity Ngannou used to have in his rise. He doesn't need to scream or posture. Just standing across from him feels like a threat. There's also the way he's storming through opposition. Think back to Ngannou's early UFC run, first-round knockouts, highlight finishes, a sense that this was inevitable. Gautier is following that exact blueprint. Head kick KOs, brutal flurries, walk-off finishes. He's leaving fans and opponents with the same impression Ngannou once did. This guy is different, and maybe the most important factor, potential. Ngannou became champion by refining his game, adding composure and discipline to the raw power. Gautier is at that stage right now, still raw, still green, but already terrifying. Which means if he keeps learning at this pace, it's not a matter of if he'll rise through the ranks, but how far and how fast. So yes, the comparisons to Ngannou make sense, not because the UFC is desperate for another African powerhouse, but because Gautier is walking that same path, carrying that same danger, and giving fans the same feeling that once this man steps into the cage, anything can happen in the blink of an eye. And that's why the hype is real. Ateba Abega Gautier isn't just a prospect, he's a warning. The kind of fighter who can shake up divisions, derail contenders, and maybe, just maybe, destroy someone like Khamzat Chimaev down the road. And that's what makes Ateba Abega Gautier so dangerous. Because every once in a while, the fight game delivers someone who doesn't just win fights, he changes the temperature of an entire division. Gautier isn't just another prospect climbing the ladder. He's a 23-year-old powerhouse with the same raw presence that once made Francis Ngannou the most feared man in the UFC. He's still raw, still unfinished, but that's what makes this story terrifying. If Gautier is this dangerous now, flatlining opponents in the first round, sending shockwaves with every highlight reel finish, then imagine what he'll look like with 2, 3, or 5 more years of experience. That's why fighters are already whispering his name. That's why fans are calling him the new Ngannou. And then there's the Chimaev factor. Khamzat has built a reputation as the boogeyman, unbeaten, relentless, and dominant. But when people watch Gautier, they see something different. They see a man who could match that intensity with raw knockout power. They see a fighter who doesn't fear pressure, who thrives in chaos, and who carries the kind of one-shot fight-ending danger that Chimaev hasn't faced yet. So is he the next Ngannou? Or is he something even scarier? A new kind of monster the UFC has never seen before? That's the question that keeps fans buzzing. And the only thing certain is this: Ateba Abega Gautier has already arrived, and the middleweight division better be ready. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to follow Gautier's rise from raw prospect to potential UFC champion, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more fight analysis, and drop a comment below. Do you think Gautier is the real deal or just another name riding early hype? Let's hear your take.